Welcome, summoners, to games cast by Pantheon. If you wish to see more commented games, follow my social media pages below. And it looks like Dragonborn will be banning out Twisted Fate. They did not like that Twisted Fate, and I fully agree with that decision. They don't want that global comp again. It gave them a lot of troubles. And there's the Jace ban right off the bat. GoM didn't like Jace. Dragonborn didn't like Twisted Fate. Good bans. Exactly what you want to do from a pretty good team. You recognize what the problem was the last game, ban it out. Especially if it was only one real problem. It's like Malphite's the next ban in addition to Elise and Blitzcrank, with Kha'Zix also getting a ban. Fairly standard after that, but Eve was left in the pool, and no question you're going to pick up Eve if you have the chance, especially with the first pick, because there's several options. You can play Eve in the jungle, or you can pick Eve up in mid lane. And she's just very strong at this point and incredibly good at roaming around. GoM has decided they're likely going to pick up the Lee Sin and Ezreal. Apparently they just didn't like the Caitlyn pick, as Caitlyn never really did a whole lot of damage. She always felt kind of weak, despite having very good items and pretty decent farm. Looks like we are gonna see the Lee Sin and Ezreal locked in. And there we go. Dragonborn should probably pick up a support and AD carry here. And I think that's what they're going to have to do at this point. I'm not sure what they're going to pick up. They got a bunch of options open. Lee Sin could go top, mid, or jungle. Looks like there's Zyra and Misfortune down bottom. That would be a really potent lane. And I think they could easily snowball that to a good mid game. Especially if they can get a nice root early game. And it also prevents jungle invades. You really don't want to jungle invade on a Zyra Misfortune, as they both have a ridiculous amount of crowd control and damage early game. And that was definitely your kind of troll picks with Pantheon and Heimerdinger. I don't foresee any chance those actually get picked up unless they have some really weird strategy. Though Heimerdinger is a pretty solid support if they want to go with him. But I think they will likely go with either a Taric or a Sona. Both of those would be really useful. And they do decently well against Zyra, as they don't get just blown up. Looks like that is a Pantheon pickup. Will that be a Pantheon mid, jungle, top? Pantheon can do any of those roles rather successfully. And yeah, that's going to be a Taric. That's a lot of physical damage coming out from the GoM side. But they do have a real good amount of burst damage, and they're going for another semi-global lineup, it looks like, with the Pantheon. And if Dragonborn does stick with this lineup, they will be seeing Xin Zhao and Mundo, and I think it's going to be probably a Cho'Gath. I think Cho'Gath would be a better choice than Mundo. And I think Cho'Gath would be a great jungler there, because they need someone kind of tanky to jump in there, and Xin Zhao would go top lane and just snowball everything. Unless that's his jungle Xin Zhao, as we've seen in several games this patch. Jungle Xin Zhao is really potent if he can actually get his combo charge off. And he has a lot of characters that can synergize well with it. Zyra locks someone down. Then we have Xin Zhao jump in there, knock him up, and Misfortune just blows him up with her damage. And this is a much more conventional lineup from Dragonborn. They didn't want to go with that full physical damage, wait till late game. And there's a Zed picked up. And this Zed should have a really nice time, assuming he just sits back and farms. GoM does not have a whole lot of damage at this point outside of Ezreal. And I think he's the only one that's going to be able to really build damage outside of Irelia if they do decide to stick with this Irelia pick. But the question becomes, what does Dragonborn actually decide to lane things as? I don't think they want to put Zed up top. Irelia does too well against Zed. Though if they throw Eve up top, That would be a real nice pickup, and I think that's what they should do, is throw Eve up top against Irelia, because Eve can keep Irelia down, while Zed just kind of, and Irelia just kind of trade farm, and you don't want Irelia farming like that. But I like the Zed pickup, as the GoM side does not have a lot of damage again, and Zed can just jump in there and kill the Ezreal. That's what he's going to have to do. He sneaks in the side, bursts down Ezreal, and then runs away just like a good assassin should. And it looks like there is going to be Exhaust picked up onto Zed. I'm not sure why I would go with Exhaust over Ignite, but it's perfectly fine unless they're actually going to go support with Zyra going mid. They could try that, but I don't think they will. I think Zyra is going to be support. Zed is going to just use Exhaust to kind of keep people off of him after he jumps in, or just use it to exhaust the carry if he decides to jump in for someone like the support or the jungle, or even use his ultimate on Irelia and exhaust the Ezreal. We do have Misfortune popping up Cleanse, as she does not want to be hit with the Taric stun into burst damage of Ezreal. Ezreal picking up the barrier, and we do have the Xin Zhao actually deciding to go jungle with Eve. Still not sure if she's going to go top or mid. But either way, she should have a very nice time roaming this game. There's not a whole lot that's going to stop her roaming outside of just pink wards. As Pantheon will have another good, will be able to counter roam if Eve decides to roam, as his jump is pretty powerful. But I'm not sure he's going to be able to actually get in on anyone. They don't have a lot of good ways of locking people down. They have Irelia, who can either get a slower stun off, and Taric, who can get a slower stun off, or stun off, excuse me. And that's about all the ways they have of really locking someone down. And I don't think Pantheon's going to have a very good time jumping in there with his ultimate, unless he can really get behind him. As Misfortune does have Cleanse and should be able to cleanse out of any Taric stuns when Pantheon's around. Or missing, I should say. And we are going to have Lee Sin going Flash again. I've seen a lot of Lee Sins pick up Exhaust to try and really help out their teams, but a lot of them also opt for the Flash, as they will kind of want to do that Flash hit combo to set up some really big damage. And at this point, I'm not sure which side I really favor, though I think Dragonborn is the better team, and I think they are going to win the game. That lineup just looks better to me. GoM has a few good opportunities, like letting Irelia get to late and just snowball through the enemy team. I don't think Dragonborn's going to let her this game, as Irelia should be shut down fairly easy. Xin Zhao and either Eve or Zed should apply a lot of pressure to her up top. And I don't think you can rotate her mid lane either, as she's just not that good at the mid lane. She needs that kind of long lane to zone people out, or just kind of sit away and get experience. But at this point, I think Pantheon's going to be a very big liability for his team. I just don't see Pantheon working out well for this situation. They've got a little too much roam from Dragonborn with the Eve, and I don't think he's going to do a whole lot to get Zed, as he can't really harass Zed very well. Zed just sits back and farms. Eve can kind of hop invisible and farm that way. And Pantheon really needs a lane he can bully, because if he can start bullying these lanes, he'll do a real good job. I don't think he can. I think he's going to have to kind of sit back and just farm instead of pick up those early kills that people really like. Okay, there we go. Now we can actually see the skins, with everyone from Dragonborn actually picking up a skin this game. And the only person not picking up a skin is the Ezreal. Not sure how that's going to work out, but it's always nice to see what kind of skins the pros pick, as they do occasionally pick up some rather interesting ones, like the Waterloo Misfortune, and actually going with the pink Taric this game. But yeah, I'll say it again. I think Dragonborn has a much better lineup this time. And as long as they don't get shut down early, they're going to easily win this game. as they have a lot of damage coming out from Xin Zhao, Eve, and Misfortune, with Zyra and Zed being able to combo basically anyone down that they want come late game. As Zyra can just throw the snare out, Zed walk up to him, burst anybody down, especially Ezreal. Because if Ezreal doesn't get the protection he needs to stay in these fights, it's going to be trouble. And come on, game, you can finish loading up. Though I do think the choice of barrier was pretty good on Ezreal, as that will allow him to actually stay alive against the Zed burst combo. I'm not sure it's going to actually be enough come late game. It's going to keep him alive in the mid game, though. And it might also bait out a bad fight from the Zyra Misfortune, as a heal from Taric, plus the barrier, will give him a good bit of extra health in these fights. Because I do expect the Zyra Misfortune to try and fight early and often, as that lane is really good at dominating the early and mid game, thanks to the reset, the auto attack reset on Misfortune, and Zyra just naturally having a good bit of damage. Okay, game up. And I don't think we're going to see any kind of jungle in fights. Neither team has a whole lot of level 1 power outside of the Zyra and Taric. And I think they're just going to kind of play it standard, protect their own lanes, and say, hey, we're going to play this standard straight up. GoM kind of needs to do something early game, but I could be wrong. Dragonborn looks like they're going to group up and actually try for something. If they're going to, if GoM tries to actually go and ward the blue buff, they're going to get picked off, as Zyra should be able to land the root, and they follow it up nicely. But Taric does throw down the ward at the race, and it looks like GoM might actually try and sneak up behind him as soon as Dragonborn goes toward the race, as Wraith warding is pretty much standard play here. Though it looks like we will have GoM actually going for an invade. With Dragonborn might try and invade as well, but I don't think they will. They're going to go grab race, then back away. But the entire GoM team is running right towards blue buff. They're going to sit there and wait. And no, they're just going to run up and go around backside. Question is, will they be able to catch anyone out? I think Eve might see them. No, yes, Eve does see them. Thanks to the fact Ezreal wandered out. But this means blue buff does go over to GoM, and I don't think they're going to fight it. The question is, will Xin Zhao decide to go over and steal the blue buff, or will he just try a gank off early? I think he's just, yeah, they're going to go steal the other. Dragonborn side is going to go steal the blue buff away. And it looks like blue buff will be stolen. No interesting lane swaps other than Pantheon. Looks like Pantheon might actually go top, or have Taric roam around. I could see a Taric roam being pretty effective this game, as there's not a whole lot of escape mechanisms for the blue side. And it looks like Pantheon actually going top instead of going mid, allowing Irelia to go mid with and fight off Zed, I believe, who's going to be there. Taric is in a bit of trouble if you try something, and there's Taric. Will he be able to flash? He does flash away, just barely. But he is knocked up, and that should be first blood. Picked up by Zed, and that's not what you want to see if you are the GoM side. Zed is not the person you want to see first blood, as Zed snowballs incredibly hard to late game. And it means Ezreal's stuck out here, and he's even forced to burn his flash. And this bottom lane is not going to go very well. Though Irelia should have a good time against Zed, as they both can just kind of farm it off. With Pantheon and Eve up top, going to just trade farm. But the thing is, Eve is not going to be able to get in lane for a little bit, but I don't think Eve needs to really do a whole lot. She just needs to be a pressure force on the map. Xin jumping up there, will he be able to land his kick on Zed? No, Zed jumps away with the shadow. And there's Pantheon doing a good bit of burst damage to Eve and keeping Eve down. Eve starting with basically pure potions. And the ward, which is a rather nice build. And she needs it this game. She's not able to pick up any early damage items. She's just going to have to basically survive the lane against Pantheon. But down bottom, this Ezreal is in a lot of trouble, as Misfortune and Zyra are going to be able to do a lot of damage. Xin Zhao is going to find someone in the forest, but he is in a bit of trouble. Xin will be able to get this kill. just barely, thanks to Xin Zhao getting a little over greedy as they were going to try a dive, but he's taken out. And that's something you can really be thankful for if you're GoM, is a mistake like that. You pick up double buffs onto Lee Sin after losing his after kind of almost having run out of his buffs. And we're going to see Pantheon pushing up top still. Pantheon's not going to be able to roam as well, but he is going to do some good damage to Eve, and will he be able to finish off Eve? I'm not sure that Ignite's going to be enough. But that means Eve does have to go back to base, and she's going to be behind in levels. And you really can't be behind in levels to Pantheon, as Pantheon can burst you down. Though I think she should pick up a cloth armor if she has the gold. I don't know if she has the gold. Xin Zhao is going to come up top, but it is warded by Pantheon. And it looks like Taric's going to take a bit of damage, but throws out the stun on Misfortune, though they're not going to be able to do much, as the Shatter is out of range. Taric just a little too slow without boots. And Misfortune has boots so she can easily do something. Looks like Irelia is trying to jump on his head, but nothing happened as Lee Sin comes in as well. We do have nothing going on down bottom. Taric's going to try and get in here and get his stun off, but I don't think he has the mana for a full combo just yet. He needs a little bit more, then he can actually try something. But Ezreal is also out of mana. And then it looks like Eve has fully regenerated up top and is actually ahead of Pantheon in levels. But she has burned off almost every single one of her potions with only one health one remaining. Though Pantheon, not a wise idea fighting all those minions. And that minion damage is just too good. Lee Sin flashing over the wall does land on Eve and will be able to slow her down, but not enough. And I really thought Pantheon was getting a little too greedy there. There's all those minions. You don't want to fight in them. They do a ridiculous amount of damage. And Pantheon has picked up a Doran's Blade, with Eve not picking up, looks like, double Doran's Rings. Ezreal just going with the longsword and potions, but not able to go back yet, and is getting zoned out down bottom. Zed and Misfortune are farming up incredibly well. And this is looking bad again for the GoM side, as the Dragonborn side is just a little more practiced and prepared for this game. Not much more than that. They had several good chances in that first game. But this one, it's going to be a basically standard matchup, and they're losing virtually every single lane, with the exception of mid. As Ezreal's down 10 CS, Pantheon gave away a kill. And if it wasn't for a really greedy Xin Zhao, they would probably be almost out of this game at this point. But Zed's going to come in here. Will Xin Zhao be able to jump in? Yes, he does. And there's the ultimate. This means Irelia is in trouble, as he does get finished off thanks to the knock-up. Eve is in a bit of trouble up top, but will Pantheon be able to land enough damage? No. Eve pops her ultimate on both of them, getting a rather massive shield, and Lee Sin cannot finish it off. Meaning this Eve is in good shape. Eve will not be able to pursue this, though. Though there comes another big hit by Pantheon. That stun doing a good job, and there's Lee Sin will finish off, but Eve gets away just in time as Xin Zhao comes up top and should be able to finish off Pantheon here, knocking up just in front of the tower. But no, Pantheon just a little too much health. Will Eve actually try and go in on this? I don't think so. She doesn't have Ignite. If she had Ignite, she would easily just run up there and throw it onto Pantheon. But they could dive this with all those minions there, but Pantheon has to stay away. And this Pantheon pick is being a real liability like I thought in Champion Select, as Pantheon needs that mid lane and needs an easy lane to roam around. And he does not have an easy lane. And he's top lane. But that Irelia is doing a good job of farming up and picking up damage. She's going for the Phage first. And just a little short of getting that, though has picked up a cloth armor rather nicely. Will Pantheon actually jump in here? I don't think he has the mana for a full combo. If he had a full combo, he could easily jump in on Eve up top, but I don't think he's going to. Lee Sin has picked up the Boots of Mobility and the Malagrid's Razor. Taric doing a good job of zoning Misfortune out here and allowing Ezreal to grab some much needed CS and really keep the deficit at what it is. I don't think he's going to be able to catch up anytime soon, but he should be able to keep the deficit, as Dragonborn does have a 1,000 gold lead. Looks like he's picked up a Sapphire Crystal, Xin Zhao with the Malagrid's Razor, Zed going for the roaming build with Boots of Mobility and Brutalizer, Misfortune grabbing the Doran's Blade and Vampiric Scepter, with Zyra picking up potions and the Sight Stone. Pantheon has gone for the Crystalline Flask, Boots, and Doran's Blade. Looks like Xin Zhao is going to be doing some damage in the mid lane, but will Lee Sin get here in time? I think he will, but no, as he is just out of range for that Resonating Strike. And if he landed that, he might have had a chance. But it burned Xin Zhao's flash, and Xin Zhao burning... No, it didn't actually burn his flash. I thought it did. No, he just burned his ultimate, though it will prevent him from ganking for a little bit, though they are going to go jump in on this blue buff. And Lee Sin is in a lot of trouble. Zed pops his ultimate, doing some good damage, but the ultimate from Lee Sin does come out, and some big damage up on Lee Sin. So Xin Zhao does jump in and get the finish. Zed is pretty low, but there's the Zyra ultimate, and the Zyra ultimate will keep everyone safe and allow Misfortune to pick up a much-needed kill down there. That is just the power of Zyra. And there's going to be another death, as Irelia does try and finish off all those low health champions, but no such luck. As Pantheon out top is going to be jumped in on by Eve, and Eve will finish off the kill. And this is Dragonborn's game to lose at this point. They have snowballed it incredibly hard. And that just comes down to the GoM side being just a little weaker than them. They're not a bad team by any means, but they are just a little weaker than this Dragonborn squad. Dragonborn squad is looking really good this game, as they looked down really hard last game and came back. Looks like Ezreal is going to go for a Brutalizer up next, and likely into a Black Cleaver. Zed has picked up the Brutalizer as well. Kage's lucky pick up onto Zyra. And I expect Zyra will go a lot of ability power, as her plants do a ton of damage. Taric not able to get in range of this Misfortune, as he's just a little too slow at this point. He has boots and a fairy charm, but that's not enough. Looks like we are going to see a bit of a stalemate at this point, as both teams want to get their buffs and kind of wait around, get Dragon, and push the tower down. I think, looks like Zed is down here, but he is spotted out and hit by the Mystic Shot. I think they realize there's a ward down there. But Xin Zhao's in the mid lane and doing a good job of fighting Irelia, but I think Irelia will have the advantage if this game fight goes on long enough, but no, Xin Zhao does a little too much. And Irelia was throwing, just not in a good position. She could have thrown her Transcendent Blades through the minion wave for additional damage, but she just didn't get the opportunity, and Lee Sin's in a lot of trouble. Zed pops the ultimate, and will be able to pick up his kill onto Lee Sin. No, he shields it at the last second, but Irelia is exhausted, and no, not going down. It was pretty close, but just not enough to actually get the kill. Looks like Eve has gone for an early, well, probably going to go for an early Frozen Heart at this point, as there's a lot of physical attack speed requiring the champions. Looks like Pantheon is in a lot of trouble, but he does flash away, and will he be able to get out of there just in time? Yes, he does, as Eve gets away with a good bit of health. The bottom tower is taken down by Misfortune, and Ezreal's in a lot of trouble, but they will be forced back. And it looks like top tower will go down as well, making this a massive gold lead for the Dragonborn side. Lee Sin does come in here trying to chase, but Lee Sin just not able to get in range. There is the stun, and this means Zyra will be going down at some point. Though the ultimate does come out, and she will try and pick up a kill as well, though they are going to go on Misfortune instead of finishing off Zyra. Which means Lee Sin does get low, but Misfortune should go down here. Assuming Lee Sin does his ultimate. Yes, he does, but the Zyra passive actually keeps Misfortune safe and allows her to pick up a kill, trading 1 for 1. Eve does get very low up top, under 20 hit points, but flashes away at the very last second. That's some good Eve control, knowing exactly how much hit points you have compared to the enemy. And looks like we do have Xin Zhao picking up a Giant's Belt. Zed going for the snowball, and that will be another kill. Double kill and more stacks for Zed. I'm actually surprised in the competitive tournament he's actually going for a snowball item. But if he wants to pick up Sword of the Occult, he can do it, and he is farming like he can do it. I thought this Zed would have a little bit of a harder time, but apparently not, as everyone from the GoM side is just a little too weak. We do have Misfortune going for the early Bloodthirster. Ruby Sightstone and Kage's lucky pick picked up onto Zyra. And there we can see the gold totals real quick, as everyone on the Dragonborn side is just really doing a great job. They're snowballing every single lane, and they're not giving up many kills either. They've only given up a kill onto Zyra and a really greedy Xin Zhao, which is okay, especially when you're picking up kills in return for them. And the only hope here for the GoM side is that they can get this Irelia farm fed enough to actually win the game. She is their basically hope this game. I don't think it's going to happen, as Zed could just assassinate her late game, especially if he picks up all of his snowball. But even if he doesn't, I don't think Irelia stands much of a chance, as that's the only real big threat this game. And she's going to be ganked again. There's Eve jumping in with Xin Zhao, and it will be Eve picking up the kill on the back end. And it looks like Xin getting low as well, but Zed not having his ultimate up. Or, yeah, it's just finished cooling down. And yeah, they're going to push another tower down, making the towers 3-0. Here comes Pantheon. Will Pantheon be able to get anything going? Looks like he does pick up another kill, but there's Pantheon, and this should be a dead Eve. But here comes Zed. Zed with a massive damage, but Zed does get taken down and loses those precious snacks. Though Eve does still continue on. There's Zyra with a nice roots, landing it on a Taric. The ultimate does go off, and it's a good bit of damage, but Eve will not die. And Eve is just roaming around this map nicely. And it looks like Ezreal will be able to get away okay, as he's just going to try and burst down Xin Zhao. But no, Xin Zhao has just a little too much damage, though. There's Irelia. And she should be able to pick off a kill here. And yes, she does actually get a kill, but it's just on Xin Zhao. And that's not a very promising kill, especially considering Miss Fortune pushed down yet another tower and is farming brilliantly this game. And this is Dragonborns to lose. They are up a ridiculous amount of gold and map objectives, with a Frozen Heart being completed on Eve, likely a random Omen up on Xin Zhao. And it looks like we do have GoM going for Dragon. I think they could actually be able to take it, but they don't want to risk it. They're already really far behind, and another fight like that means it will likely be a 20-minute game over. Fortune has completed the Bloodthirster, BF sword up onto Zed. And at this point, I'm not sure what's going to stop Zed from killing whoever he wants. He's got, I believe, 3 stacks still up on the Sword of the Occult. And he is looking to add even more to that with that BF sword purchase. We do have the Vampiric Scepter up onto Ezreal, in addition to the Brutalizer, Phage, and I'm not sure what Lee Sin's going to pick up. Probably go for the Warmongs like he did in Game 1. But Eve is going to jump in on Pantheon, and Pantheon does not have a way out here. Though Eve doesn't want to fight under tower for too long. Looks like Lee Sin's coming up top, but will be spotted out by a ward in the jungle. We do have Xin Zhao also spotted out here, and Eve is in a little bit of trouble. But I don't think Eve is worrying too much, as she's just a little too tanky for these people at the moment. And here comes Zed with a big ultimate finishing off Pantheon. Irelia does jump up here, but Irelia is not in good shape to fight, as Zed does do a good bit of damage. Eve taking up the tower, and double kill by Eve. This Eve taking all the kills, and she almost should have gotten a snowball out in this game. Here comes Xin Zhao jumping in on the Taric, and Taric taking a ton of damage. And that will be Zed picking up another kill. I think he's up to 7. I can't actually check, but it wouldn't surprise me. And there goes Ezreal. No chance, as Miss Fortune does get her kill stolen by Zyra. And yeah, this is snowball, and this is likely what's going to happen in these early rounds. They're either going to be a snowball one way or the other. And this is just what Dragonborn wanted. They wanted to snowball this game, play it standard. They had a very interesting team comp in the first game, but they couldn't keep up the same success. Yeah. And then there's the ultimate buff from Zyra, and that means a double kill likely for Miss Fortune here. But Miss Fortune does get taken down by Lee Sin, though Lee Sin will try and get on this Zyra, but the minions are blocking his way. And he really needs to kill the minions. But there's Pantheon, and there goes Lee Sin. But Zyra is in trouble, but she flashes away at the last second. Xin Zhao coming in, but Xin Zhao will be taken out. Thanks, taking almost full damage from that Pantheon. But here comes Zed, and Zed will be able to pick up this kill on the Taric unless Zyra steals it. Will she actually go to steal it? I don't think so. But there's the ultimate going off to pick off Taric. And that's 10 stacks up there by Zed. Zed throwing the exhaust down on Pantheon, and will he actually be able to get the kill? No, the Hex Drinker just in time. So we're going to flash forward and likely pick this up. But there's Irelia with the team's only real hope, but no. She just does not have the tankiness or damage at this point. She has a Phage, Zeal, and Doran's Blade. We do have Pantheon with double Doran's Blades and Hex Drinker. Lee Sin going for Warmongs. We do have Ezreal with the Brutalizer and Vampiric Scepter, Taric with the Philosopher's Stone, and likely going to build that either into Australia's Reverie or Ruby Sightstone. Or he could be actually going for the Aegis of the Legion. Looks like Eve has picked up the Frozen Heart, and Misfortune will be jumped on here by Irelia. But Irelia should be able to pick up this kill before going down, and she does just do so. But here comes Zed, and Zed's doing a lot of damage, but he will be actually forced back thanks to Irelia. Irelia is doing a ton of damage, and Lee Sin slowing the attack speed just a little too much. But here comes even Zyra, and Zyra picks up the kill. We do have BF Sword finally finished on Ezreal. Eve has picked up the Frozen Heart and Riley's Crystal Scepter. We do have Xin Zhao going for whatever he pleases at this point. He's mixing everything. He could likely go for Randuin's, or just pick up a Trinity Force. He's kind of mixing and matching. Bloodthirster, Brutalizer, Sword of the Occult picked up onto Zed, and he has a ton of stacks on that. Looks like we have Misfortune going for a Last Whisper up next. In addition to the Bloodthirster, we do see Zyra having picked up the Spell Penetration, and could possibly go for Crucible, or just go for a Deathfire Grasp up next. I don't know what she wants. She can go for whatever she wants. She's stealing kills all over the place. And it looks like Eve is in a bit of trouble here, but they decide not to go for it as Xin Zhao does jump in there and knocks Lee Sin up. Lee Sin does have a chance to get away as Ezreal goes across. And there goes Misfortune across everyone, and there's some big damage as Zyra does finish off that one kill. Eve running in as well. She is exhausted and will finish off Taric. And there goes Ezreal. And this game is basically over. The score is 30-8 with a 14,000 gold lead in favor of Dragonborn. And this is Eve snowballing to ridiculous levels, sitting at 13-0-3 with almost 150 CS at the 20-minute mark. And that is scary. Especially Zed now has 14 stacks on his Sword of the Occult. He is doing ridiculous amounts of damage. He has almost 400 attack damage. And that Zed does a lot of damage. He's going to be able to burst down whoever he wants with his ultimate, and there is no chance of them living. The only one he really needs to burst down is Irelia, as Ezreal doesn't have enough damage, and neither does anyone else on their team. They just don't have anything really going for them on the GoM side of things. We do see, looks like they might try a Desperate Baron on the GoM side, as I think that would be a decent opportunity, especially if they see someone like Eve and Misfortune down bottom. And if they lose it, it doesn't really matter as much, because they were already in a really bad spot. Looks like we do have an Iceborne Gauntlet picked up on Xin Zhao in addition to the Giant's Belt. That's a pretty decent choice and will allow his team to really stick with him, even though I'm not sure it's really needed, as Eve had a Riley's Crystal Scepter as well, in addition to the needlessly large rod. Zed has picked up the Last Whisper, going for more magic or armor penetration, and his damage is going to be nuts. Absolutely ridiculous nuts this game. And it looks like we do have Zyra picking up the Audrey's Torment, looking to just poke people down before the fight actually starts. And Misfortune with the Last Whisper addition to Bloodthirster here. Xin Zhao looking to try and go in there, but I don't think going in there is such a good idea. There's the entire enemy team, as here comes Zed. Will Zed actually go in there? No, he will not. But Xin Zhao does get taken out on the back end things. And Zyra might also be taken down, but there goes Zed, and Zed picks up a kill on the backside, and that will be 20 stacks for Zed. And Zed is legendary at this point. And this Eve is good. 15-0-3, and she is going to snowball this game. That should be a good game at this point. I don't think there's any way GoM can really come back here, as Dragonborn just snowballed so incredibly hard. And that should be a good game. Will they actually push for the end? I think they will. I really wish I could see Zed's attack damage. There we go. 414 with 19 stacks. He's only at 19. I'm sorry. I thought he was at 20 at this point. But I do think he will pick up a stack at the end. Oh, Misfortune's getting a lot of damage. Pantheon ult's going to come in, and that should be a dead Misfortune. But she does take down one Wither. And one important Wither, which was the Irelia. Question is, will Zed actually come back in here? Looks like he might, and he does now, picking up 20 stacks and a double kill with Zyra, and he picking up one kill on the back end, and that should be a good game, as this Zed is ridiculous. He is just ridiculous. And that is a good game. Dragonborn just snowballed that game off playing a standard lineup. And nothing more than that. It was fairly even other than the Pantheon, who really didn't get going. Everyone else was pretty even until the snowball started. And that's just how some of these games go. Final score was 39-10 in favor of Dragonborn, with a massive gold lead in their favor as well. Not much to talk about in terms of items, as everyone basically got what they wanted on the Dragonborn side. The GoM side was a little low on gold, and that's just a snowball. These things do happen. Alright, time to check out some of the other streams and see if they have anything going, or if they are just kind of sitting around waiting for the next match like this one will. Thank you for watching Games Cast by Pantheon. For more commented games, please visit my YouTube and stream channels.